violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
To date, Frances Walker's family is able to access her home on North Washtenaw.
I was in tears, but what can we do? You know, see stuff everywhere, pictures of her when she got married and her brother.
And this is crazy. Guys, I did a video on black women are the most educated but the most evicted, and now we have a sister who has dismembered her landlord. This is a big issue, especially when it comes to the eviction moratorium, where landlords are not allowed to evict their tenants, and now just recently they have been given that ability. But the problem is the issue is that they don't want to go. These tenants don't want to leave. And in this case, you have an elderly landlord, an elderly female landlord, and she was no chance for this super sister gremlin on demon time.
And just feel we miss her more.
While the family gathered mementos, one of Walker's tenants was in court, charged with killing Walker on Monday. Today, a Cook County judge ordered Sandra Kolalou held on no bail.
Sandra Kolalou, man. This chick is savage, bro.
I can see they're still investigating. The authorities want to have a fair trial, and in a fair trial, she's going to be locked up for a long time.
I was happy with the decision today because I think this woman doesn't deserve to be in the community.
Today in court, a Cook County prosecutor told the judge Walker put an eviction notice on Kolalou's door Sunday, and that other tenants heard the two arguing.
The basement tenant.
See, you cannot tell these super gremlins to leave nowhere. You can't tell them to leave because now they're going to come back looking for smoke.
Heard the defendant screaming and what sounded like a dish breaking. The basement tenant heard the victim's voice trying to calm the defendant down, and that was the last time she heard the victim's voice.
The prosecutors said police were called to the house 3 times on Monday to check on Walker, the third time discovering some of Walker's body parts in a freezer. Relatives tell us Walker called police previously to have Kolalou removed after making threats, but Kolalou resided there and was allowed to stay.
It's the renters that has favor. Look what happened. If the police would...
Yeah, see, and that's an issue, man. These policies are only favoring renters, and they're trying to squeeze landlords out. They're trying to squeeze landlords out. You know, there's a quote that says, you know, in the future, everybody will all be renters, own nothing, and they'll be happy.
Would have listened. Our system was really there. Our sister would have been alive.
There are still improvements that can be made to the system and still keep it fair, because if they look at this fairly, they know this is a dangerous person.
And imagine having to live with that sister. Imagine having to, you know, she's in the basement, you're on the top floor, and you're living on top of a super sister gremlin on demon time.
Now at 4:30 today, we're learning more about the murder of a landlord inside an Arcadia Park home.
The victim, 69-year-old Frances Walker, is described as generous, friendly, someone who welcomed others into her home. Right now, no bond for the murder suspect. CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey joins us live from outside the home in Arcadia.
Damn, and see, this is why, like, we get discriminated against when it comes to renting properties and apartments and all that kind of stuff. They just it's bad out here. I mean, and then with the headline that we did in the live stream, black women are the most educated but the most evicted. I mean, that's gotta be something that's at the least factored in to why you would, if there's evidence of discriminatory housing practices, why you would see that.
Terrace with the new gruesome details coming out of court. Megan.
Right, Jim and Erica, and I do want to warn our viewers that some of these details are very disturbing. In particular, the fact that the victim's severed head, arms, and legs were found in a freezer in this home behind me, but her torso is still missing.
Wow, where'd she put the torso? Severed head, arms, and legs. Shawty said arm, leg, arm, head. This is God body. And she threw that woman's remains in the freezer, dog. What did she do with the torso? And they was talking about Dahmer. Dahmer? He ain't got nothing on this super sister gremlin on Demon Time.
Prosecutors say 36-year-old Sandra Kolalou was one of 5 people renting a room in this white house from Frances Walker. The other tenants had issues with Kolalou, and on Friday,
of course they did,
Walker changed the locks on 2 doors to keep her out of other areas of the house. Then on Sunday, Walker posted an eviction notice on her door. Tenants said they heard Walker and Kolalou fighting about it.
The basement tenant heard the defendants screaming and what sounded like a dish breaking. The basement tenant heard the victim's voice trying to calm the defendant down, and that was the last time she heard the victim's voice.
A tenant called police the next day to report a missing person. Police responded but did not speak with Kolalou, who had called a tow truck to take her to Foster Beach, where her broken-down car was parked. The tow truck driver watched her dump a black garbage bag into a green garbage can at the beach. Officers later found paper, greeting cards, pooled blood, and blood-soaked rags inside. Police contacted the tow truck driver, and he stalled the offender at a car repair shop until the police arrived. The mechanic refused to service the car because of the police involvement. When the tow truck driver drove her to Western and Estes, where she wanted to be dropped off, she pulled a knife on him. That's when Kolalou was arrested by police.
Wow. This woman is a menace.
The house, Walker's body parts were found in the freezer. Police said blood was also found in the common area between their rooms, the threshold leading to Kolalou's room, many locations in Walker's bedroom.
And I guarantee she had kids. There's no way she didn't have no kids.
First floor bathroom, sink, and closet, on 2 chef knives found in the first floor kitchen, and on a Lysol bottle in Kolalou's bedroom.
Wow.
No bond for Kolalou. Her next court date is set for October 31st. And coming up at 5, we're looking into her criminal history, which includes assault and battery, although only misdemeanor.
And she got through and was able to rent this woman's basement with that type of background. Did the woman do a background check on her? It's crazy, man.
Cases. We're also looking at previous calls for help for police at this very home, and some of those calls happened just last week. Right now I'm live in Arcadia Terrace. Megan Hickey, CBS 2 investigators.
All right, Megan, thank you.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
The victim, 69-year-old Frances Walker, is described as generous, friendly, someone who welcomed others into her home.
We have team coverage tonight. CBS 2's Charlie DeMar spoke with the family and friends, but we begin with Jermont Terry on the investigation. Jermont.
Erica and Joe, the woman charged in this murder is not talking to detectives tonight. And despite invoking her Fifth Amendment rights, Chicago police are trying to piece together what they can about this disturbing case.
Wow, and she ain't finna get no details She ain't gonna say why she did it. This is sickening.
And how they believe this gruesome murder played out. Investigators in hazmat suits uncovering the forensic evidence at this house in Arcadia Terrace on the north side. It's here where Chicago police say Sandra Kolalou murdered her landlord, dismembered the woman, and then tried hiding the body parts. Yet before the discovery early Monday morning, others living in the building were awakened.
They heard a screaming at about 2:30 in the morning Monday night. And that's when the next day, at about, like I said, 6 or 7 p.m., they called to report the victim missing.
Police say Kolalou was known to argue with her landlord, Francis Walker, and tenants called 911 several times about her.
Many of the tenants who lived in this house were afraid of this individual.
Which is why they suspected something serious happened the night before, right below them.
They immediately started texting the victim, saying, "Are you okay?"
Yet police say Kolalou replied to text messages, leaving the impression Walker was still alive.
Wow. And I bet she was like blood-soaked, replying to texts, just scrambling.
But the tenants still called police.
They couldn't find any signs of, blood or foul play.
Officers tried talking to Kolalou before she jumped into a tow truck at the house.
The defendant at that time said that she knew her rights, didn't want to talk to the police.
The tow truck driver took her to Foster Beach, unaware what police would later find in this garbage can: human remains. Outside the house, officers spotted blood-stained rags. Police then went inside Kolalou's bedroom. There, cops were met with a ghastly sight.
At which point, they discovered the gruesome remains in a freezer.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. That's disgusting, man. Literally dismembered this old, sweet lady. Oh man, these super sister gremlins are on demon time.
Possibly could have been done with large butcher knives.
Now, police say the murder and dismemberment all happened inside the house, telling us that they also found some blood-stained knives inside as well. When asked about a possible motive, police say that Kolalou had recently received her eviction notice just a few days before. Reporting live outside police headquarters tonight.
And in that in that live stream I did, they were saying black women are non-confrontational, and I'm like, whoa, that's not true at all. I guess this is what non-confrontational looks like.
Jermont Terry, CBS 2 News.
Just awful. Jermont, thanks.
And it was a terrifying ride for that tow truck driver, who says after he picked up that woman from this home, it was scary throughout the night. He says he ended that ride fending her off with a stick and being scared for his life.
That man got a crazy lisp.
Holding the stick, pointing it directly at her like, hey, back up.
A Monday night on the job for Antonio Correa ending in fear.
Everything inside the truck's feeling like, hey, you finna get stabbed.
After he arrived to this far north side home to pick up Sandra Kolalou, just as police were filing a missing persons report for her landlord, Francis Walker.
She comes out with the black bag. The cops are stopping her. Hey, we have some questions. We want to talk to you.
He says police spoke briefly to Kolalou, then let her go. Now in the truck, he says the two of them went to Foster Beach to tow her SUV.
Before I get there, one of the neighbors that I was talking to, she calls me back. Hey, just be careful because we feel like she's guilty.
Correa says he saw her dump the plastic bag in this garbage bin at the beach. He then took her and her vehicle to this mechanic shop on Western and Toohey. The owner tells me off camera he refused to service the SUV when police arrived.
Wow. She was trying to get rid of the evidence.
Kolalou was again questioned by officers, but released. Correa says he then agreed to drop the woman back.
Released? That's insane. They had her, then released her. She could have hurt some more people. If that ain't female privilege, I don't know what is.
Home, but a short time later, when he parked his truck for payment.
I'm writing out her information of the card on the receipt. And then when I see the name, I'm like, what the heck? If you're saying your name is Sandra, who the heck is Francis Walker?
That's when he says she began to act threatening, pulling out a pocket knife. Police not far away.
And that's when they come grab her. Come to find out she did have a knife in her hand.
That's when police finally took her into custody and returned here to find her landlord's remains inside of the home. Tonight, that suspect is being held on no bond.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.